Good morning, PTY students. This is Miss Davenport with this week's science lesson. This week is going to be a review. Review on exploring physical characteristics of organisms. Next slide. Our next slide shows our teaks K.9a, K.9b, K.10a, and K.10b. I'm introducing a new teak this week. It says identify basic parts of plants and animals. That's K.10b. Next slide. In this next slide, we have our vocabulary words. All these vocabulary words we went over in the previous videos in part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. But Ms. Davenport thought it was important for us to go over these again. Botanist. A botanist is a scientist who studies plants. Change. Change is to become different from the way it was before. A flower. A flower is the part of a plant that produces fruit. Fruit, the part of the plant that contains seeds. What do we use our seeds for? Seeds are small parts of flowering plants that grows into new plants. Yes, we make new plants with seeds. Life cycle, sequential stage of growth and development that an organism goes through in its lifetime. Body covering, the material on the outside of an animal, such as feathers, fur, hair, scales, shells, skin, or exoskeleton. Resembles. Resemble is to be like or similar to something else. A part, a portion of an organism. And physical characteristics. What is physical characteristics? A characteristic that is physical in nature, such as mass, shape, size, color, texture, number of limbs, or body covering. Next slide. On the next slide, you will see the life cycle of a plant. A plant starts from a seed and it grows into a flower. If you will look at the slide, you see the life cycle of a plant, seed, flower. And then you will see also on this slide parts of a plant. That is after the seed has grown. What parts of the plant will the seed produce? It'll produce roots, stem, leaves, and flower. Next slide. In this slide, you will see a polar bear. Polar bear has a habitat. A habitat is where a polar bear lives. But in order for this polar bear to live in that habitat, it has to have a certain body covering. This polar bear body covering is fur. The fur keeps the polar bear warm in the winter. The polar bear lives on ice. So, on this slide, you see where the polar bear is on ice. You see where the polar bear is with his children. And then, oh, I see a beach. With the polar bear having fur, do you think the polar bear can live on the beach? Would it adapt well